Joe Biden needs partners in Washington to end this pandemic and save our economy. He needs real leaders. Leaders like Raphael Warnock and Jon Ossoff. They understand the challenges facing Georgia voters and will look out for us, not just their stock portfolios. Joe Biden needs Raphael Warnock and Jon Ossoff in Washington to get the economic relief we need. They'll work for you, and they need your vote. Vote early starting on December 14th, or vote in person on January 5th. Vote Jon Ossoff and Raphael Warnock.
Well, today is the day. Georgians are lining up across the state in what is the most important election since the last election. As you know, the runoffs in Georgia today are critical since they'll determine who controls the Senate in the new Congress. We're here to tell you all about it in our first Indivisible Weekly of the new year. My name is Pablo, thanks for joining us. Now, before we dive into why today's runoffs are important, I want to remind everyone who lives in Georgia or who knows someone who lives in Georgia that polls are open until 7 p.m. today. If you haven't voted, please get out and vote. Remember, as long as you're in line by 7 p.m., you will be able to vote. And millions of people are voting in this crucial election. As of this morning, over 3 million people had already voted early. Turnout is through the roof, and that's because the stakes could not be higher. So, what exactly is on the line in this election? Well, to put it simply, everything. So much is riding on whether or not Democrats can flip the Senate. I mean, just last week, we saw Mitch McConnell block a bipartisan proposal to send $2,000 survival checks to people struggling through the pandemic. He didn't even let it come to a vote. Of course, that wasn't surprising since Senate Republicans spent most of 2020 blocking COVID relief legislation. And we know this pandemic isn't going anywhere anytime soon. So if we want to get people the help they need, we must send Jon Ossoff and Raphael Warnock to the Senate and take the majority away from Mitch McConnell. And COVID relief isn't the only thing riding on this election. The truth is, most of the work we want to accomplish in the future, from climate action to racial justice, immigration, DC statehood, and more, will require us to have a majority in the Senate. And we can do that. We can win today. But we need everyone to vote. So if you're a Georgia voter and you haven't voted yet, visit iwillvote.com right now and go find your polling place. And lastly, we want to recognize the incredible work that our volunteers and organizers have done to help win these seats. You all sent 1.4 million texts in December alone, and you've continued to make calls and get people out to vote in this critical election. Thank you for all of your hard work in an election cycle that I know never seems to end. But it will end after today's runoffs. Now, just like with the November 3rd election, we don't expect to know the winners of these races tonight. So beware of candidates and talking heads on the news making any lofty declarations before all the votes are even counted. This will take a few days, and that's absolutely normal. And by now, we're used to it. Thanks for watching this week's episode of Indivisible Weekly. If you're watching us on YouTube, be sure to like and subscribe, and check out the resources in the description for more ways to get involved this week. And be sure to join us this Thursday at 8 p.m. for our first National Activist Call of the Year. And you can find an RSVP link to that in the description as well. I hope you've all had a safe and happy new year, and I'll see you next week. Thanks, everyone.